Shalom, everyone. Boker Tov, or good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you right now. Go ahead and share where you're from, and if there is some kind of prayer or request that you want to put out for our group or into the world as we enter into this month of Elul, a month of healing and a month of bakasha, of requesting, and a month of shedding, of letting go, as we welcome in the spirit and the energy of the new year. So tomorrow, actually night, yes, into Thursday, and Friday, we're welcoming in the new month of Elul, which means for the next few weeks, we are going to do an intensive on Psalm 27. Those of you who have been following us for, I don't know how long, we would be on Psalm 62, I believe, this week. We're taking a break, and we are going to go ahead and just do a mini swirl, just focusing on Psalm 27. So with gratitude to My Jewish Learning for this platform, for us to gather and celebrate and heal and sit and welcome and to be in loving community. Thank you to My Jewish Learning. And my name is Rabbi Danielle Upbin. If I've not met you, I'm so glad that we have this time together to do a little meditation, reflection, and study on the book of Psalms. And I don't see everybody all at once in the gallery view. I am in gallery view, but I do see my mom and my son, so I'm very happy to see them. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, Bruchim Abayim, welcome. Let's see, I'm going to share my screen so we can go ahead, and we're really just looking at a little bit of text today, and then we'll hopefully have more of our time together to be in meditation. Okay, share my screen. Okay. All right. So Psalm 27. Everyone can see this? Thumbs up. Can anyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So Psalm 27 is not very long. It is 14 verses in total. Today, we'll look at the first 3. Psalm 27 was chosen to be our guiding words of the season. Let's read them together. And this is kind of like a nice activity to read the words together. And next time I will transliterate them. So in case that's not accessible to you in Hebrew, and we'll look at them in Hebrew and in English. LeDavid Adonai uri vishi mimi ira. Ma'oz chayai mimi efchad. Bikrov alai mereim le'echol et besari. Tsarai ve'oivai li. Hema kashlu v'nafalu. Im tachane alai machane lo yira libi. Im takum alai milchama bezot ani boteach. So of David, you might have another translation that you're working with. This is our shared text for today. The Lord is my light and my help. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Whom shall I dread? When evil people assail me, to slander me, to devour my flesh, it is they, my foes and my enemies, who stumble and fall. Should an army besiege me, my heart would have no fear. Should war beset me, still would I be confident. So some notes on this psalm as we allow those words to enter into our hearts. A really great way to do this is for us to be able to navigate together. And so if there are questions, just for the next few moments, if you want to use the chat to put questions there, like what bubbles up for you in these words? Okay, what is what are these words evoking for you? Where do you fall in these texts? Okay, so these are contemplative kind of questions, open questions. for you to think about. Okay. But if something is that you really want to share, go ahead and use the chat for these next few minutes before our meditation. So looking at the light, right? What is it about this light that is compelling for you? Maybe you might want to ask, Mimi ira, Mimi efchad. We have these two words here. Who will I be afraid of? Right? God is with me. So who should I fear? Whom shall I fear? Right? Mimi efchad. Whom shall I fear? Two different words to describe maybe an experience of awe. Right? We're in the Yamim Noraim, entering into the Yamim Noraim. We call them the high holidays, but they're the days of awe. Right? In this time in our calendar, the days of awe, Yamim Noraim, from Nora, Ira. Right? So I heard a teaching yesterday. What's the difference between Ira, which means like, it's kind of like Nora is awesome, right? That awesome feeling, not in the slang Valley Girl sense, right? That's awesome, right? But of the awesome, full of awe feeling that we are meant to open our hearts to in this moment, in this time of year, in this season of awe. Right? There's an invitation here to distinguish between awe, which is mind expansive, whoops, my chimes here, versus fear, which is constricting. How do we move out of constriction into expansion? How do we move from our small mind of fear, of feeling impossibility, to ira, the awesomeness of our connection, of the depth of our own heart, of our relationship with the divine, of our seeing and our being in this world. Ira, you could say that there's a root there of seeing. And efchad, there's a root of to sharpen. So maybe sharpening our fear in order to open into that larger space of seeing and of being seen. Okay. So Psalm 27 is a very personal, intimate psalm, right? We have these words here, first person, singular. God is my light. God is my deliverance. Who shall I fear? We're really taking this personal journey throughout this month. Okay. So combining a meditation on the meaning of faith and hope, which we'll get to later in the psalm, directing this prayer toward God, right? Toward this very close God. We talk about God as being transcendent, like out there, like, where are you? To like, whoop, very close, very near, right? That's the God in this psalm, at least in this moment of the psalm, that God is accessible, that God is right here, that feeling of the divine is very close. I may move into an experience of being afraid, of shutting down, but I only need to open myself to seeing, right? And sharpening that sense of fear into awe, right? Reclaiming that awe. The connection between the psalm and the high holidays is made in the Midrash, where the sages interpret it in reference to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, where it says, God is my light, LeDavid Adonai Ishi, up here, LeDavid Adonai Ori V'ishi Mimira, that God is my light on Rosh Hashanah, and the day of judgment, that God will cause your vindication to shine forth like a light. Right? We see that in a cross-reference in Psalm 37. And on Yom Kippur, we say that God saves us and forgives us of our I don't like to use the word sins because I feel like it's alienating, but God forgives us for all the times that we've missed our mark, Where do we get that? In Hebrew, the word for sin is chait. And if you think about the archer who's shooting arrows, when the archer shoots the arrow and the arrow misses the target, that's a chait. You missed your mark. So kind of already reconfiguring for ourselves. I mean, if the word sin feels good for you, and that's where you live in that wisdom and understanding of that word, then I don't want to take that away from you. But another reinterpretation of that word, chait, is a misfire. Right? How can we redirect? Okay. So LeDavid Adonai Ori, that God is our light. It's kind of a reference to our experience of Rosh Hashanah. And then Vishi, our salvation, right, moving into Yom Kippur. So we have like kind of double images that we could be working with in this season. Okay, anything else here? Okay. The Midrash also sees the foes in this psalm as like, who's against us? It says evil men are against us. Like, what is that? So the rabbis interpret that to mean that's Satan. That's, people say, oh, do we have the devil in Judaism? Do we have Satan? Well, there's this idea of the Satan who's trying to trick us, who's trying to get us to fail, get us to fall, getting in our way, right? Does that have to be like literally like a fallen angel, like a red guy with a tail and things? Like, no. Like, what are the obstacles in our path? Right? We consider that to be the Satan. What are our obstacles to faith? What are our obstacles to full love and consciousness? Right? So the rabbis interpret that as Satan. If that's not like of interest to you, or if that's confusing, right, you could let it go. We don't have to focus on that. But the numerical value of that word Satan, the sages teach, is 364. So that's kind of like 364 days of the year, the Satan could get the best of us or get the better of us. But on Yom Kippur, because we say this psalm all the way through the first of Elul, which begins right, this Friday, I guess you could say, all the way after Yom Kippur, even through Sukkot, and then we stop saying it. So it's like the light word again, the light psalm of our season. So that one day of the year that Satan has nothing on us is Yom Kippur. Okay. Love a little numerology to lighten our day. All right. And finally, we'll get to this at the end of the psalm, this idea of Lulei and Elul, the last line of the psalm, which I didn't print for you today, but where it says there, verse 13, Lulei emanti l'rot betuv Adonai be'eretz chayim, were I not to be believed that I would see the Lord's goodness in the land of the living. This word Lulei, Lamed Vav Lamed Aleph, if you read it backwards, it spells Elul. So we're reading the psalm all through the month of Elul, again, which we're bringing in the next couple of days. Okay. So I want to take a look at the chat. Any comments or questions so far? Okay, it's a psalm of comfort to all who struggle. Thank you. Enemies may prevail, but we carry on, right? Or we call on that force of the Kadosh Baruch Hu, of that light to surround us, okay, and be within us. So Nicola writes, having issue about making someone else stumble and fall, okay, yeah, right? So maybe we don't want others to stumble and fall, but maybe we want them to get out of our way. But yes, we shouldn't need others to suffer for us to rise up in our own lives spiritually. Yeah. All right. And can I send a copy of the psalm? Yes. So I will share with you a copy of the source sheet, and then we are going to go into our meditation. All right. So for today's meditation, we will be exploring the motif of light, okay, of moving into the space of Elul, a time of healing, a time of forgiveness, forgiving others, forgiving ourselves, a time of getting clear on our goals for the year, and becoming clear on what obstacles stand in our way, obstacles that may be obscuring our sense of faith, our full vitality, our fullness in the world. In this month of Elul, we ask ourselves, how do we want to be in this world? How do we want to be seen through God's eyes? Through the eyes of our loved ones, through the eyes of a stranger, and through our own eyes in the mirror. Finding a comfortable seat if you have not already. And of course, you are always welcome to stand or walk, whatever feels good for you, to allow yourself to deepen into your own sense of being. Take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, releasing anxiety and fear. Inhaling love, connection, joy, presence. Exhaling anything that doesn't serve you right now. Finding your own long rhythm of breath, easy, being at ease with the breath. Just noticing that you're alive. You are a breathing, sentient being, and you are filled with the divine light. Maybe sitting up a little more straight. Chest lifted, heart open. Relaxing shoulders away from ears. Soften the face. Palms maybe facing up if you need to receive, or facing down if you need a little more grounding. I'm going palms face up. Breathing in the image of an aleph, its arms extended up on both sides and legs planted in the earth. Exhaling that line that moves through that aleph, the diagonal line. Bringing to mind, if you can picture it, the letter aleph, or the sound of ah, and these next few cycles of breath, opening up to the experience of the aleph of Elul. Aleph is that beginning of the divine name, Anochi. I am the Lord your God. Opening up to the expanse of and allowing that first letter of Elul to breathe with us and surround us with divine light. God is my light. Who shall I fear? Opening up to that light energy, to an experience of inner light and being surrounded by light. God is my light. Who shall I fear? moving from that Aleph to the next letter of this month of Elul. So Lamed. If you can picture a Lamed with an antenna above, a rounded bottom of the letter, of the shape. Imagine that antenna growing through the spine, up through the crown of your head. That Lamed of learning, teaching, sharing wisdom. To be an antenna of reception, connecting to the message of divine love, of divine light, of wholeness. What message is being transmitted to you right now? What message, in turn, would you like to transmit out into the world? Mind wanders, always returning to the breath. Breathing in light, breathing in love. Exhaling anything that doesn't serve you. And exhaling love and light back into the world. The next letter of Elul is Vav. You can imagine a line beginning on the earth and rising up. A straight line, a kav. All around us, invisible lines of connection. Vav. As a letter, the meaning of Vav is and. And yes, and. Yes to this, and. How do you see yourself as a connector today? As an invisible line of connection in this universe filled with light? And finally, we move to the last letter of Elul, Lamed again. To be learners, to be teachers. What is the wisdom you seek right now? And what in turn do you wish to teach? Another moment here. Breathe in the expansiveness of the Aleph, of the divine name. Breathing in and breathing out, learning and teaching, wisdom. Our own truths, our own awareness, our own sense of shedding and growing. Breathing in our awareness as connectors in this universe. Allowing ourselves to connect to the wisdom of divinity moving through us. Connecting to the light, sense of salvation. Connecting to the work of Elul. As we prepare for these high holidays, the Yamim Noraim, the days of awe. When you're ready, placing hand over heart and hand over hand for a chance of shalom, peace, and healing, an awareness of our connection to one another and to the divine. 3 times. Shalom. 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 When you're ready, releasing hands, opening eyes if they've been closed. And this concludes our meditation for today.